This Christmas, Terry Pratchett's Hogfather, a magical family tale, is being brought to life in a spectacular live-action adaptation for Sky One.
Ho, ho, ho!
Like all great stories, Hogfather has a beginning, so join us as we discover how this epic project came about.
This world began in the early 1980s, and really, I suppose it was initially an antidote to fantasy.
The moment I read my first Pratchett novel, I always knew I wanted to turn it into a film. Hogfather works perfectly. You can transmit it at Christmas. It's a magical family story that everybody can relate to.
Hogfather is an epic fantasy tale, one full of magical creatures, wonderful landscapes, and amazing characters. So how does a director adapt such a story for the screen?
I'm not nervous, because I think I'm more prepared for this than anything I've ever done before. Inevitably, of course, loads of things will go wrong, because they do. I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is that having spent the last 9 weeks working on pure logistics, pure planning. You know, I've kind of forgotten that actually this is a story with amazing characters and great lines and wonderful comedy. So to get back to that is what I'm most looking forward to.
Let's go slay them.
After months of preparation, everything is ready to take Pratchett's wondrous tale off the page and into reality, of a kind.
You normally try and go for a nice easy day on the first day of principal photography, but unfortunately we've gone for a really complicated and difficult sequence, which involves putting my lead actress on a mechanical hog with an animatronic head on tracks, followed by cameras and lots of... It's all tricky and difficult.
Finally, ready to go. Can't wait to get on now. Yeah, it's quite realistic. Well, very realistic. It's got a genuine hoggy feel.
Roll, please. And action!
And cut!
Well, probably about a third of the film is set in the Tooth Fairy's castle. So it's Tea Time and the gang come to raid the castle to try and control children's belief by collecting their teeth together and casting a spell on them.
Children of the world, prepare to think as you are told.
We're in a place called Cluny in the Highlands of Scotland, which has the perfect landscape for the Castle of Bones. In fact, the Castle of Bones is over there, or at least it will be when the clouds clear. What we're trying to get is a shot of the dogs running towards camera, but we didn't think we'd get enough snow in Scotland, but we seem to have plenty of snow. So we have to sit here and just wait until the snow stops.
Peter, this is Ian. We're ready when you are, sir.
If they catch him, he won't just die. He will never be.
We've had quite an exciting time on this project, I must say.
I've had to stop filming in the past for lots of different things, you know, but I've never before been rained off in a studio.
We have this sledge that flies, and the Hogfather and I, well, Death actually, who's playing Hogfather, are up about 50 feet in the studio.
At about 4 o'clock, the rain really started to come down heavily. On my headphones, I could hear what sounded like a whoosh, 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 whoosh.
And suddenly you could hear this rushing water, and as we turned around, there was a manhole cover floating about a foot above the air on this rising torrent of water, which was gushing into the studio.
And then I started to see David was starting to look a little worried up there, and I saw him look over his shoulder, and then I took my headphones off and saw people starting to run around.
There was about 240,000 watts of electricity running about in this studio, and suddenly all hell broke loose.
Somebody panicked, I think, from the studio and switched off all the power, so we were in the dark.
Unfortunately, me and Marnix were stuck on this flying sledge, and everybody else was rushing out to the exit. So there was two little voices saying, help, what about us? Help, help. And eventually somebody did actually discover that they'd left us in this flooding studio and sent in some men to rescue us.
So the result was that we actually lost 2 days filming. Sometimes things go wrong that are avoidable, and that's when I get frustrated and want to stamp up and down. But sometimes things happen that there's nothing you can do. And in that scenario, there's always a way around it. There's always a way of making it work. And there are always insurance companies.
Is he dead?
He's not breathing.
Breathing spell. Breathing spell.
Cut. And I think the sit-up can be a bit slower.
And action. Ciao there, Joe, what's that noise from the back of the room?
I have to say there was a moment on the shoot where I couldn't help myself, and I on a day when I had so much to shoot and I was right up against it, in terms of whether or not I was actually going to be able to make the day at all. And with about 2 hours to go, the fire alarm went off, and it was quite obviously not a real fire. So of course we have to evacuate the building. And I was trying to get the crew back in as fast as possible, basically. Trying to persuade the people at the Guildhall that we should get the crew back in. Whether it was burning to the ground or not, I wanted to carry on filming. And it's kind of the cliche, keep filming, whatever.
OK, folks, stay away from the red buttons on the walls in future, please.
I could have told them it wasn't a fire. You couldn't smell a thing apart from pigs and sweaty cheese.
I hope the thing that I've achieved with the team of people that have been working on this is that we've created some of the magic that Terry's books have. One of the things about making a film is that you hope, and it doesn't always work, that you can create something that is magic, that takes you to another place. And I really, really hope that with what we've shot, we're going to be able to create a film that takes our audience to Discworld.
Hot Snouter! Giddy up!